Native American artists often use art as advocacy to draw attention to issues and challenges facing their communities. On Saturday, the Museum of Indian Arts and Culture in Santa Fe opens an exhibit that features Native perspectives on the controversial Dakota Access Pipeline. It was a huge deal. Think back to 2016, when a grassroots effort sprung up to protect the environment from a planned pipeline moving oil from the North Dakota shale fields across Native lands at Standing Rock. Native people and their allies joined forces to fight construction, and people from New Mexico were among those who spent time in North Dakota at freezing protest camps that winter. Now, what did Standing Rock teach us? And how are Native American artists using their creativity to highlight political and social activism? This weekend, the museum will explore the No DAPL movement through a discussion as it opens the Beyond Standing Rock exhibit. Correspondent Antonio Gonzalez gives us a sneak peek.
I know there are a lot of people who went from New Mexico to Standing Rock, but were you trying to incorporate any of that at all into the
where it did happen, it happened rather naturally.
Native artists across the country often use art as a means for advocacy and raising awareness about Native American issues and challenges facing their communities. What do you hope the public learns about Native issues?
With this exhibit in particular, I want them to see that it's not just Standing Rock, that there's other stuff happening throughout the US and even in Canada where things are happening to our environment and it's not necessarily a good thing, and that we need to do something about it and make sure our resources are protected. We actually ended up getting a large amount of the material, the photos in particular, from social media, particularly Facebook. And we reached out to some of the different people who were posting in different groups, and we asked them if they wanted to be in the show. For a variety of reasons, MIAC couldn't actually host the exhibit until now, but the Maxwell had it last year, and we've since expanded it to include a lot of, as you can see, fine art that we now have in the exhibit. We have a painting, we have other large-scale photos other than that one. We have a couple of sculptures, and I think the one thing that a lot of people are surprised to see is the quantity of journal articles with medical literature and the legal documents pertaining to other events that are occurring throughout the United States that are similar to what happened at Standing Rock. This Zoe Ernest photo, it was actually nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, and I think a lot of people forget that the protest went on into the winter. And this is a picture of some of the veterans who were there actually continuing to protest through some of the really rough, harsh winter conditions. In order to get a lot of the photographs that are in the exhibit, I reached out to a couple of friends that were actually in Standing Rock at the time of the protests. One artist in particular is Pamela J. Peters, and I asked her to kind of spread the word among other artists that she knew who were there in the camp. In addition to that, I joined Facebook groups that were in support of Standing Rock, and I posted, MIAC is looking for photos for an upcoming exhibit, please get in contact with me. Surprisingly though, the best way to get photographs was when someone would share a photo, I would ask, if this is your photo, can you please get in contact with me? We would like to use it for an exhibit. And people were so gracious, and they reached out and they're like, I have more. And so we ended up getting hundreds of photos from about a dozen or so artists. And if you come to the exhibit, you can actually see all of them. We have them looped on a monitor.
In today's political and racial climate, you also see a lot of social media, a lot of tension in the United States, and artists often use that coming through their artwork. So what are your thoughts on the way that today's society is responding to some of these things, including through this exhibit?
I think they're using a lot of their anger and passion to make really moving artworks. And I'm a big fan of the sculptures that we have by Kathy Whitman, Eagle Woman. She just really moved me with some of her pieces. And you don't even have to look at the title in order to get what she's trying to say with her pieces. The Frank Buffalo Hide piece was actually a little bit of a surprise for some of us. He had shared with us a digital mock-up of what he wanted to put in the show, and he's like, I'm finishing it this weekend, I promise it'll be done. And it was this beautiful snow globe. It was part of the snow globe series, but it had this grayish blue background, and it was filled with teepees. And I was like, okay, that'll work. And then we got the Wish You Weren't Here #2, and it arrived, and it's bright yellow, and it has this militaristic kind of presence. And I was like, that will work even better. Well, this one was inspired by his time actually in the camp, along with a few others that he's done with this snow globe theme. And as you can see here, you have the military presence coming in to actually break up the camp in the middle of winter. And the exhibit actually opens on the anniversary, the 2-year anniversary of Standing Rock basically being shut down. When I was working with the Maxwell Museum to first show this down there, Deborah Romanak, the curator down there, she was doing a series of what she referred to as rapid response exhibits. And in each one of them, she was focusing on some sort of social or political issue that she felt needed to be heightened and the public needed to be made aware of. I really wanted to make sure that was part of the exhibit for people to realize just how long the protest went on, because I think the media lost sight of what was going on and they didn't feel the need to necessarily cover it. I think this is an excellent way to kind of educate the public, because people don't necessarily go out there and read, but they'll come into a museum and look around.